Welcome back to episode 55 of the Split Screen Experience. Today, no Andrew, but we have Skippy, Jarrett, and I.
The best of the best.
For
The
real.
three amigos.
The
Three
true Spartan Squad.
musketeers.
No, don't say that.
It's actually the J Money crew.
Dog.
No.
If only Harmon had a
Okay,
cool J name.
Honestly, imagine being named something that starts with H, bro.
I'm first in the alphabet compared to you guys. So,
J's goated though.
J is
no.
goated though.
no. Anyways, we have a game releasing today. Of day of recording, not day of launch or release for this pod. Civ 7. We got some Civ 7.
Kind of wish we didn't already.
Yeah, from what I've been seeing right now, it's kind of like mixed reviews.
Everything I've seen says if it wasn't a Civ game, it'd be really good. But it is unfortunately a Civ game. And I don't know how to take that. I'm kind of worried that is it really worth the ridiculous asking price that they're asking for it?
Yeah, $70 seems to be rough. But like I watched one of those videos that's like before you buy kind of thing, and like I've been looking at it, and there's some things I'm like, But at the same time, I haven't really played any Civ, like an actual like Civ title other than like Civ Rev religiously. Like I've heard from
Right.
like Coleman like about like Civ 6, but like I don't really know that much about it. But like originally when I heard about it, I thought that they were just gonna be like, oh, you don't actually have a Civ, you just have different leaders throughout ages, and I'd be like, all right, that's kind of dumb. But it seems like you can just pick whatever leader you want and then whatever civilization you want for that leader to lead. But
You're correct. And they also basically got rid of the age system, which is a little weird. So now instead of individual civs advancing separate of each other, it's all locked together. And when
Ugh.
you actually advance, there's 3 ages, and when you advance to a new age, everyone gets basically not necessarily reset, but all of your units become like level 1 units of that time frame.
like
So, like, if I had like bronze warriors of the Bronze Age, they'd become
They become like soldiers for when you get to the. It's like
Like
the
modern?
antiquity age, the age of exploration, and then the modern age.
well, I don't for that mechanic. I
don't-
don't mind that just
yeah,
because like
I still have like an Iron Legion like forever ago that I left in my city to defend forever.
Yes,
Like that-
but it also
like-
gets rid of like the whole point of if you're good at the game and you can get yourself ahead of everyone else, and you're
That's
kind of
the
getting
part-
punished for being better than them, and they
That's
just
the
kind of get
part-
to jump ahead with you.
that's the part I don't like. I like being able to like automatically just upgrade your units or whatever to whatever age you're in. But
Which that I'm
like
fine with.
But the fact that like they don't really incentivize you, it's like, oh shit, yeah, I'm borderline space age, and like these guys are still in the Iron Age. I feel like that's kind of more the fun of it, because then like if you happen to fuck up, like you're like, oh, finally, I got the civilization beat, and then you just see Gandhi over there with a goddamn nuclear warhead. Like, hello, yes,
Literally.
your fucking armored cavalry are not gonna survive this. I'm like, all right, cool, thanks.
It just feels like that's a core mechanic of Civ, is like having that chance to be behind and then catching up.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you don't know what you're doing, you shouldn't be rewarded for not being great at the game. It is a strategy game after all.
Right.
The same thing with Stellaris. Like by the time I had like battleships, you fuckers already had like cruisers and like starholds and stuff. So I'm like, what the hell am I doing wrong?
Well, I'm still fucking confused on like how they're even implemented. So basically, if you're like the one that's ahead of everybody, are you just amassing a shitload of wealth to the point where you're just waiting for that last person to cross into the area where you can move on? Or is it something different for like how you progress to ages? Because
So the ages are locked behind, like, they call them crises. That's kind of, so every age ends with a crisis for each civilization. And that kind of, how you handle that kind of goes into the next age. So there's different ways to handle the crisis. So some of them I've seen are like unrest in cities, and you can break it down. You get options to handle it, and some of them are like you get -6 gold, -3 happiness per pop, stuff like that. I'm not exactly sure if it's time based or if there's like if you hit a point, you have to wait for everyone to hit that point with like technology or something.
So it's basically your choices are what matter when you progress to that age. Like if you happen to be like, oh, this crisis, like I took a military approach, so your people were just fucking unhappy for a little bit, or you could do like, does it give you like buffs for things? Like if you were to diplomatically solve it, do you get like more cohesion or something, or like do your cities be more prosperous? Do you start the age with different resources?
There
If
doesn't
you
really
make
seem to be positive ways to deal with it. From what everything I've seen, all of the crises had things that you had to pick to solve it all be negatives to start out. Now they
Mm.
might get removed as you progress to that next age and like your decisions change.
So like it's only like for like the first 5 years.
Yeah, it
So
looks
like
like
for
it's
first
something that's
5 years
negative to
you have.
stop the crisis, and you're kind of stuck with that to rebuild up into the next age.
I see. Okay. Okay. I probably will end up picking up Civ 7 at some point. I probably won't buy it anytime soon. Probably wait like a month or two once they've ironed out some
Look
of the
for sales.
sale, and once they've like ironed out some, because I'm assuming there's probably some crazy bugs out there that people just haven't run into yet, or have, and just I haven't seen anything.
It's a Civ game. The multiplayer is going to be iffy for a while. But for
Yeah,
everything I've heard, it hasn't been too buggy and not very many
that's
crashes.
good at least. That's the big part, because I feel like now whenever a game releases, it's like crazy
Super buggy.
bugs
Yeah.
and
Well,
crashes.
when I watched that one video, I heard that when they were progressing to a new age, it crashed their PC.
Yeah, that was his only
Oh,
crash though. That's the only time that's happened.
well, and a game crashing every once in a while, there's no stopping that. It's gonna
Especially
happen
something
at
that's
some
brand
point.
new.
Yeah.
It's just liable to happen every now and then.
And speaking of new game stuff, Marvel Rivals quickly changed something that they said yesterday. So they were going to do a mid-season rank reset on February 21st, and the Voice of the People said no, and they said today, February 12th, that they're no longer going to do their rank reset. They're just going to do their mid-season balances and add the Human Torch and the Thing, the final two members of the Fantastic Four, which I'm excited for them to play. I'm excited for a new tank.
Yeah, new tank desperately needed. Team up with Storm for
Human Torch. I did
the
see
Human
that.
Torch is gonna look real rough. I don't think you're gonna see that very often because they're gonna get banned a lot.
Storm gets banned like crazy already, so yeah, I don't think we see that. She went from one of the weakest DPS season 1 to crazy strong. They buffed up her numbers too much for season 1.
Her ult just charges so fast.
Don't worry, Jarrett. Magneto doesn't get banned, so you still get to play your boy.
Correct.
Yeah, that'd be nice if I actually have been playing the game, but I don't think I've played it in like a month.
You need to get back on the grind. I mean, if you got off your Dead Island 2, or not Dead Island,
Dying Light.
Dying Light grind for whatever reason.
Dying Light is
How do you confuse the both? How do you confuse both of them?
Dying.
Dead.
Dying. Zombies. It's all the same.
It's two different words.
It's all the same.
One franchise is actually still good. Well, I would.
Hey, don't disrespect Dead Island 1.
I'm saying Dying Light is better than Dead Island. I'm saying it.
We're catching flack in comments for that.
Because
we probably will catch some flack for that.
I mean, like the second game for both of them, like I mean, like they're mediocre, I think. But like comparing Dying Light 1 to like Dead Island, Dying Light wins. No contest at all.
I'm kind of sad Dead Rising took a shit. So I did appreciate that game series. 2 is what got me into it. I enjoyed 3 since that was one of the few games that we had for the Xbox One. I never played 4, but I think 2 and 3 I just enjoyed so much.
Well, if only Left 4 Dead was still around and actually good.
Literally,
yeah, we were supposed to get like a Left 4 Dead 3, weren't we? And then like Valve axed it.
Valve never makes trilogies. It just doesn't happen.
because we have Half-Life 2, Portal 2.
Oh, Half-Life 3's never.
It's never
Half-Life
coming
3 's
out.
Never
coming.
happening.
It's coming. It's coming.
What I would
Trust.
like to see, I want a Team Fortress 2 like remastered.
That's maybe possible, but I don't know if they will.
I mean, it still gets crazy numbers on Steam.
Exactly. So
That's
why
the
would
crazy.
Valve waste time to remake it?
So they can
I think-
include a PlayStation Xbox port.
feel
That's
like-
not happening.
I feel like at this point,
Never.
with these kinds of old like franchises, like all the people that were there that made those games are gone from the studio. So if that studio tries to make a third or like a reboot, like unless they have like a clear structure on what to do, it's more than likely gonna suck.
Yeah.
And there's like, I mean, there's some shining examples. I mean, like Dead Space's remake is fantastic, but like that's because it's a remake and they're actually using like the old game to actually make adjustments and stuff. But like if they're, it's like I don't know. It's like if they stopped at Mass Effect 2 and then 10 years later they came back and made 3, it would probably be it would be horrible because everybody there's just gone. But I think that's just a gaming industry problem at large now.
It is. Games take too long to make sequels of, so by the time they're ready to make a sequel, they've had so much turnover because companies just don't know how to keep the employees anymore, or they have bad culture, and then, well, you get Activision.
Yeah. And then the fact that we haven't seen a BioShock game in like 10 years.
10
at this
years?
point.
Over 10 years?
Yeah, I can't remember. Didn't Infinite come out in like 2015?
2013, I thought.
13. God damn, that's even worse. That's
Yeah.
even
I was about
Yeah,
to say it
no.
came out forever ago.
like I guess they had that like I think like in 2019 when they released like the collection or whatever, but like Jesus.
That wasn't a
still
new
not.
game though. That wasn't
Yeah.
a new game. That doesn't count.
Yeah, it
That
just
doesn't count. Speaking of another, Ark announced a new DLC, and it's like Greece based. They have like the Greek ships, like ramming ships.
triremes.
They have like, yeah. So I've fallen off Ark once they released the new game. So I haven't been much into it, but I enjoyed time playing Ark one summer forever ago.
Just a
I
game
played
I
it.
can never really get into.
Same. I think I bought it because everybody told me to buy it, and then we never played it. I think we played it for like 30 minutes, and then I was like, all right, and then we never played it again. So
I don't think you bought it. I'm pretty sure it's on Game Pass.
no, it was a long time ago, probably before Game Pass even existed. I was like sophomore year of high school or something.
That was a long time ago. Yes, really long time
Atlas
ago.
Falls or whatever it was called.
Atlas
It was just
Fallen,
Atlas. I think it was just
Atlas.
Atlas, wasn't it?
No, I think. Oh, let me go look real quick.
I think
Yeah,
Atlas
it's just
Fallen is a
Atlas.
different game. Atlas was the
Yeah, it was just
Add
Atlas.
word of
Skippy
remake
spending all this time to build a ship, and it
fucking
just falls
boat to get off
apart.
the island and it just sinks. It's so cool. And I was like, that's it. This game's getting uninstalled, never playing again, and I have not touched it in the fucking 6 years since.
Yeah,
Do they even release it for a full production, or is it still in game?
I
It's
think
still
it
game.
just I thought they
No,
just
it's
released
still-
it for full.
It's still a game preview, but it's
Damn.
still 91 gigabytes for a game preview.
Dog.
It's also 91 gigabytes of like useless. Like it should look good for 91 gigabytes. It looks just like a rip off of Atlas.
I mean, Ark.
Or yeah, you know what I meant. Arc. That's
Yeah.
close enough. Someday.
And I think the last thing that was kind of on my docket for today's podcast was Rooster Teeth coming back. The creator, Bernie Burns, co-creator, excuse me, has
No, I don't really know what you can salvage from it at this point.
I don't know. I think he'll get a lot of people back. I don't think they'll have as many branches as they did. I think they might just stick with Rooster Teeth proper for a while, get back some of the core members. And I'm sure there's still a good amount of people that are happy to see this back, and and they'll all get a good following like right away. But
I don't
yeah,
know.
I do think some people probably still have a sour taste in their mouths of how they went out and why.
I feel like
So
that's just gonna hurt them a lot. Because like, I mean, like it went okay. Yeah, we have this cool studio. Okay, yeah, we have a good time. We're gonna sell ourselves to Warner Brothers or whatever they sold it to, and then from there it just goes downhill. And then now they're like, all right, we're gonna reboot it, and it's like, well, all right. Like, is it just gonna follow the same path? You're just gonna build it up again and then just sell it off again?
well, hopefully
Were they actually bought
hopefully
out by Warner Brothers?
They
No, I
were
think they sold.
bought out by
I think
something.
they sold to Warner Bros. I don't think they
Or was it
were
really
bought
them
out.
selling it, or was it just them like, we have to do this?
I'm pretty sure they
That
sold
I
it for that
don't
big
know.
paycheck.
I think they just did it for the
I
paycheck.
mean, I'm getting Rooster Teeth and Machinima mixed up.
I think
Like,
one of
you
them
are
was
as well.
like, one of them was
It was
not
Mach-
a good
I think it was
time.
Machinima.
Yeah, I think Machinima was
Pretty
the
sure
one
it
where
was
they're like,
Machinima.
hey, we just disappeared, private everything, and then they got sold to like AT&T and then Warner Brothers or something stupid.
Yeah, that wasn't Rooster Teeth. I'm pretty sure that was Machinima.
I don't know what they're up
I'm
to now.
hoping I'm hoping to see some of my favorites back from Rooster Teeth, like Michael and Gavin. Those guys were funny because they did like the Rage Quit series. Those are always funny to watch. But yeah, it's weird. I came to terms with them leaving and not coming back, and here they are 9 months later saying they're back.
I'm
Do you
kind
think
of
we get
glad.
more red versus blue?
No, I honest to God hope they don't do that. I liked how Red versus Blue ended. If they
Kinda
do
glad-
something different, I want it to not be Red versus Blue. I want that to be something new and original.
Orange
Kinda
versus
glad
green.
I'm glad I never really watched them growing up, just so I,
I
don't
mean,
have to deal with that loss.
I mean, it's still really good though. I liked Red versus Blue seasons 1 to 13. 14 to 20 it gets a bit weird, but
There's only so much you can do all the time.
Yeah. I mean, they were also pumping out a season every year because their final season released, I think, start of 2024, and they launched it in 2003. So 21 years of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
There's only so much you're going to be able to do. But I think for that, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Bit of a shorter one this week. But we have some people out. So we just wanted to give you guys a small little update on what's happening in the gaming community right now. I am Harmon, as always, joined with Jarrett and Skippy. And we'll see you next week. No, you're not J Money. Shut up. Shut up. We're not J Money. Quit bringing it up.
J Money and his lackeys.
We gotta stop him one of these days.